Hey everyone, I'm still here. Yes, while the channel may be going through a few changes,
I remember the moment my dreams were broken.
I didn't want that to affect my output. So I'm back with another video. Maybe a bit shorter than usual, but he's trying his best. I'll give you all a few updates about what might change at the end of this video, but for now, I want to bring you a shorter, more refined, and more directly helpful video about a problem that a lot of us are struggling with. Yep, it's our old friend, porn addiction. It's one of those things that's so all-encompassing, but no one really talks about it. But let's get one thing straight. I am not a self-help channel. In fact, I kind of hate those types of videos if I'm being honest. I find they always lack a bit of nuance, and they always kind of assume someone is financially stable enough and extroverted enough for therapy, which many of us just are not. All of these tips are designed to help someone who is socially anxious and cost conscious. It's for people who don't exactly have it all figured out yet, and who don't want to wake up at 5 in the morning to write in my meditation journal, I shoved 5 carrots up my ass this morning. I don't have the urge to touch my willy anymore. No. Without further delay, here are 5 simple tips that might help you curb a corn addiction. You know what? These are 5 simple tips that might help you curb a porn addiction. That's right. No more corn, no more ducks. I'm not making money anyway.
And there's no money in here!
So I might as well go all in here. That's what the Patreon is for, link in description. Tip number 1, track your moods. Our moods are always in flux. Some days are like hot Mondays, everything sucks and we just need a pick-me-up. But sometimes we get real lucky and we get an overcast Friday. I hope I'm not talking out of my ass when I say this. I can't be the only one who just loves that particular configuration, right? Absolutely nothing will ever beat getting out of school on a Friday afternoon, it's overcast, you have nothing the rest of the day, you're eating chicken wings, you watch The Lion King 1.5 on your CRTV. What was I saying? Yeah, some days are just better than others, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just a fact of life that some days you'll be more desperate for a pick-me-up. Happens. Those are the days where you're most vulnerable to your addiction, and one option is to start planning around this. Find something else that gives you the same level of pick-me-up. That could be fast food, that could be taking a walk with your friend, or it could be watching The Lion King 1.5 on your CRTV, whatever boats your float. So how do you plan around this? According to my source, you should check in with yourself every hour and see how you're doing emotionally. Can you tell when you wake up in the morning or when you're leaving work that today is just one of those days where you don't want to wake up? You're feeling vulnerable and stressed and at risk of going on autopilot. By checking in with yourself, you are stepping back from your emotions. By catching it early, you can act before your cravings take over and can't be reined in. Because the goal here is to be more aware of when you tend to want to do it, and avoid the situations that activate those tendencies. I already told you what picks me up, as weird as it is, but find what works for you. You know, maybe it is right after your high school or college classes where you just want to unwind for the day. Maybe that's when you feel the greatest urge to pick up your phone. The sooner you can learn what times of the day and what situations lead to you wanting to do it, the easier it's going to be to predict it farther out. If you're an anxious person, you're probably somewhat of an introvert. The overlap is massive there. Maybe it is watching a movie you're nostalgic for, or a certain food that you enjoy. Simple as that. Whatever it is, use that element to replace how you unwind. Tip number 2, have a plan. Sure, however your day is going might be an overall trigger for you. Those hot Mondays can just ruin everything, but sometimes they'll be much harder to spot. It's the little things that are gonna get you. For an alcoholic, it's the fridge that's between the front door and the living room couch. Maybe for a porn addict, it's the computer right next to their bed. You need to offset these triggers. If the computer or phone next to your bed is getting you, move your desk farther away. When you fall into bed late at night, you might not be tired enough to skip the choking sesh, but you're just tired enough to get back up to get the computer or phone. So, move it farther away. Use your own laziness to overcome. Modern problems require modern solutions. This is one of the tactics that pairs well with the first one, tracking your moods and replacing that pick-me-up with something else. The key here is about being deliberate, proactive, but also about substitution. The goal is not white-knuckle stopping, but replacing the porn with something else. Here's where people trying to quit smoking are replacing their cigarettes with candy. Is the candy as good as the cigarette? Is playing guitar or going for a walk as good as the porn? No, of course not. But it's about rewiring your brain to be cool with this slightly less good reward instead. It's going to take a long time, sometimes months, for those brain circuits to stop firing and for more new pathways to take hold. Think about it this way. You're sort of working together with your brain to lay the foundation for different paths to take. Bonus points if this path is easier to take when compared to the old one. If an alcoholic drinks on the couch, they might be tempted to drink more because they're so close to the fridge. But if they take their one beer upstairs, that's a lot more effort to go downstairs and get more. Again, use your own laziness to your advantage. Planning out your routine and changing a few things around can allow you to more easily skirt these habits. Luckily, I don't have such triggers. Tip number 3, parental lock. This one might seem a bit goofy, but it's actually one of the easiest to accomplish. Similar to the last one, this tactic involves making it more difficult to get to the porn. If you have someone you trust, let them know about your addiction and ask them to install a parental lock software onto your device. It won't be foolproof, of course, but a parental lock with a password will make it that much harder for you to access X-rated sites on your phone or computer. I understand that talking about it with someone else can be embarrassing, and most of us are already dealing with some form of anxiety, but the good thing is, you actually don't have to tell anyone about it for this to work. If you don't want to tell anyone else about your addiction, install the parental lock yourself. You'll know the password, sure, but the few minutes it takes to type it in and get around the lock and do all that every single time might be enough to wake you up and just discourage you from watching it at all. Let's go back to that alcoholic analogy. Say they move houses, and their new house is an extra block away from the bar. As an added bonus, it's no longer in between their workplace and their home, so they'll be too tired to stop there when they come home from work every night. My parents have set parental locks for me before, and it always worked. When you cut off access, it's just not worth the trouble anymore. Suddenly, you get really good at using your imagination. Tip number 4, plan to do something else. You might confuse this with the already established point of finding another pick-me-up, but this idea is more technical than that. It's an established fact that the energy and type of response we get during sex is the same as when we exercise. Therefore, exercising is a great way to take your mind off porn, because you're using that same energy and putting it towards something else. But I know what you're thinking. I don't want to exercise, and I'm right there with you. It's not the fact that it takes time and dedication, that's fine. I just hate being that physically uncomfortable for so long. But you don't need to lift weights or anything for this to work. Just walking around a track can also get the job done. I've been doing this for a while, and while it hasn't taken away my porn consumption completely, it has cut out a lot of the parts of the day where I normally would succumb to the addiction. Instead, I'm at the gym, far away from my phone, working out. It also gives me a lot of extra time to think on video ideas while I'm walking there. And, of course, there's the obvious bonus to this one. You get jacked instead of getting jacked off. Yeah, I'm kind of proud of that one. And exercising is not the only thing you can do. It needs to be something to distract your brain, not something passive, because that'll let your mind wander. If you're like me, you have video ideas to think of, so this still kind of works. But if your mind does tend to wander when you walk, maybe you can consider alternative options. You might exercise, you might play video games, dancing, I don't know. Just pick up a new hobby to distract yourself whenever you feel tempted. Pick an activity that you actually enjoy and not one that you dread going to. The more you can replace with porn with a healthy habit, the better. I've found that exercising outside of your apartment or wherever you live works the best, even if that's walking around your block 3 times. You feel good, and now that you're far away from the privacy of your room, the temptation isn't nearly as bad because you don't have access like you did before. And, okay, I hear you typing. My mind wanders when I walk, and I hate exercising like you do, and video games don't help because they're inside my apartment. This stuff is hard. It's hard to find something that truly distracts your brain for long enough, because the power of horny is just too much sometimes.
I'm horny and can't concentrate. You will assist me.
Well, here's another idea. Something else I've really been getting into is cooking. It's not something I expected to really get into, but you make instant pancakes one day and suddenly it's off to the races. I made French toast this morning, and it was not half bad, which, shocking. Cooking is something that's often a multi-step activity, and it's something you can do while listening to music or binging a playlist of YouTube videos. I've been doing this while watching, well, what else? There's usually a lengthy cleanup process too, which is just even more time that I can spend not thinking about porn. A great benefit of this one is if you're a guy and you know how to cook, that is such a valuable skill. A lot of guys just don't know how to cook. Nothing against us, you know, no offense, but it's just something that we're not really taught to do. But it gives you something to talk about besides video games, anime. You're taking a step into another interest. Therefore, potential for more friends. Join a cooking class or a group, or even an online chat room about cooking. We've got a cooking channel in our Discord, I'm pretty sure. Also, I don't even need to say it, but knowing how to cook is almost always a really attractive skill.
Just touch that.
Yeah, it's cold.
Touch it.
So there's that too. Like if you're looking for a partner and you write on your resume or Tinder or whatever, I know how to cook. That's pretty big. That's good. This one has a lot of great benefits, and it's quirky in a way that's just right. So if you're looking for something to get into that isn't terribly expensive, honestly invest in cooking. You can buy things out there. All you need is some kind of oven or toaster oven. Most apartments come with it default, and all you need is instant pancake mix. All you need is a stove for that. Shit, I mean, it's so easy, but it's something that you can really be creative with. Would highly recommend it. Finally, tip number 5, schedule it. This is one I've talked about in my original porn addiction video, and it's one that genuinely did help me for a long time. Now, I did fall back into it because I started doing videos on sex education, and those acted as triggers for me, but before that, this one did legitimately work. It's one of the few things I've personally tried that actually worked for like more than a month. I was a serial, everyday user. It was hard for me to get away from it, until I started telling myself that if I skip today, I will allow myself more time for it tomorrow, training myself to push it back just a little bit further. Eventually, I was able to get it down to 1 day a week. And oh boy, did I have fun on that day. It's embarrassing to say, but I got really good at making that second day worth it. But the point is, it worked. I can do a whole nother video about how I made it work, but that'll be very in-depth and very embarrassing and probably not allowed on YouTube, but whatever, fuck you. I'm not making money anyway. Look, when you spend that 1 day going crazy, the cooldown period actually gets longer, so you don't feel like doing it again for a longer period of time. Your post-nut clarity, when you actually don't feel like doing it again, can last for up to a few days when you get that long, which makes it easier to avoid doing it. Pretty soon, there's gonna be days where you just completely forget to do it, and that's when you know it's working. It sounds like a desperate play, I get it, but this is one of those times where I have to keep pushing on this. I have to recommend something, because this, I wholeheartedly believe in it. I think this is a piece of the puzzle I was missing before. So, hopefully at least one of these ideas will work for you. I've tried all of them at least once, and personally, I found actual success with a number of them. But everybody's different, so different solutions are gonna work for different people. That's why there's no magic solution to porn addiction, because everybody's just built different. But anyway, the success rate of these was definitely something I took into account when I narrowed down this list of potential solutions. Again, I find a lot of typical self-help stuff to be, well, unhelpful. I want to try and help you in real and grounded ways. in ways that don't push products from sponsors. I mean, I'm not making money, so I guess this is a good segue to just say that I'm kind of free to make whatever video I want to make now, not having to worry about what's going to do well, what isn't. I'm just going to make whatever feels right in the moment and whatever I think is going to help you as a person. Speaking of which, onto the changes you might see on this channel moving forward. Don't panic. All I want to say is I want to make more refined content. More After Effects graphics like the ones you hopefully saw in this video. More detailed outfits, stuff like that. That might mean slightly shorter videos, like the one you just watched, or a longer wait between videos. But this will make for an overall better experience when I do release a video. I don't want the prospect of money to affect the quality of my content. I think it's become apparent at this point that the direction of my content is sex education, sure, but it's not just that. I want to, look, I am, by its scientific definition, an incel. Involuntarily celibate, someone who has not had sex yet. And I've been in the shit before. I've seen the community and the type of person you can turn into when that really starts to get into your head. I know that a lot of you guys out there, and girls too, really starting to hate women, men, woke Hollywood, whatever you want to call it. I know the kind of thinking that you can fall into. So one of the goals of this channel is to not only talk about sex education, but what it's like to be someone who is an incel, technically speaking, and how someone can kind of dig their way out of that hole. I have a lot of fun on this channel talking about goofy boobs iceberg, and it got me completely demonetized, but I don't want to change the direction. I like that direction. I can do goofy stuff, but I also want to do more serious videos where I try and help people through their issues, because I'm someone who's still working through those issues too. That's what I want to do. There will be some adjusting of strategies here and there, sure, but the core messages I want to convey and the topics I want to talk about will never change. I don't expect these changes to affect output in a very dramatic way. My videos are going to be largely the same, maybe just a bit shorter and a bit more focused. Or maybe like an extra day or two to put on some finishing touches. That's about it. That being said, I do hate asking this directly, but if you did enjoy what you saw here today, consider supporting me on Patreon, which as of today is up. We have tiers as low as $1 a month, all the way up to $5 a month. I wanted to keep this cheap because I know for most of us money is just so tight right now. $5 a month gets you behind the scenes content, one extra non-sex ed video every month, your name in the credits of every video, and more. Even if you can't afford it, I still really appreciate you watching all the way to the end of this video. We also have a Discord called the Lavender Baristas and an Instagram, Lavender Paints 1. So if you're looking for extra content and video discussion, you can find those over there. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Good night.